Valentine's Day is this Saturday. See, we reminded you. Romance is in the air, but so are the scams. AARP says millions of Americans age 50 and older have formed what they believed were genuine online connections, only to be asked for money or steered into fake investments. Chris Widelo is the AARP New Jersey State Director. He's here now with more. Good morning, Chris. Good to have you on this morning.
Good morning, Ken. Good to see you.
You bet. Hey, listen, talk about, please, some of these romance scams and why the scammers love to go after the 50 plus crowd.
Yeah, it's really scary when you think about it because we know that 1 in 10 older adults, 50 and older, that's really 11 million Americans are, they have engaged in what they believe is a romantic online connection. It's usually perpetrated online, and it ultimately leads to some type of ask for financial help or investment in cryptocurrency or some way to separate that person from their money. And it is, it's happening, at higher rates for people who are 50 to 64 than any other demographic. And a lot of it is people are seeking social connection, they're seeking companionship, they're seeking love. And so they have this relationship. Again, often it's happening online. They're not actually meeting this person, and they're being strung along until they've built this connection, and then feel obligated in some way to help this person out financially who's really not there for them. They're simply just scamming them.
So, Chris, how are they making the initial contact? Is it with social media sites like Facebook and things like that?
Yeah, I think it can happen in so many ways, especially with the online landscape, right? It can happen through, Facebook and Instagram where you can reach out to people. There's certainly dating apps, and you really just don't know who's on the other end. But often we see a trend of where this relationship is built over time online. You get to know somebody, you think you know them, and even though there are plans to meet, you never meet the person, or they get canceled, or there's some type of obstacle to them being face to face. And then comes an ask, right? And it's usually sometimes coupled with some type of tragedy or something critical that's happening, and they need this help. And because they've established this connection with that scammer, who they think is interested in them romantically or in some, in some deep connection, they feel like they need to help this person out, and then they sometimes feel ashamed and don't report it.
And when you talk, I was just going to ask you about that. They don't report the crimes because what they don't want their family and friends to find out, or they feel that what they did was a stupid thing and they should have known better. But it's innocent, right? You definitely want to
Yeah.
report something like that, whether they could find the money and find the individual or not. At least others will be informed that it's going on right now, right? So that you know to be
Yeah.
aware of it. Second, you hear money, should that be the oops, sorry, delete? Should that be the end of it?
Yeah, it really, there should be some warning signs. And I think, when you look at 55% of those who were, who lost money in this type of scam don't report it because they do feel embarrassed, and they shouldn't be. This is a crime, and we have to remember it, and we have to break down the stigmatism that somehow they have been fooled. They were, it would be no different if they were, approached on the street and their money was stolen. They have, these scammers are smart. They go through a lot of steps to build this trust, and they know that the end game is that they are going to take this money from someone. So we have to make sure that people are alert and aware of what are the signs, making sure that, if money comes up, I mean, how well do they really know this person? Have they ever met them, right? Like, what is the nature of their relationship? But, also talking with friends and family and getting their opinion, sometimes, just having another ear to say, does this sound right? It goes a long way to preventing this serious crime.
Yeah, along those lines, I spend part of the year, in fact, right this minute, I happen to be in Fort Lauderdale. I go back and forth between New Jersey and South Florida. And for the holidays, I bought a number of gift cards at a local Publix supermarket, common in South Florida. And when I went to the register with these 10 gift cards, they pulled out a list and they said, Do you know whom these are purchased for? Did anybody ask you to purchase these? I was very impressed by that. At first,
That's great.
there's one side of the brain saying that's very invasive, and the other side, no, they're addressing a real problem because there are a lot of seniors, retirees in Florida, and so they're asking the questions across the board. And at first, I thought, hey, I don't want to answer these questions. And then I realized, no, this is great that they're asking these questions. And once I explained, yeah, this is from my mother, this is from my brothers, I was buying gift cards because I was 1,200 miles away from everybody. And but are more stores doing this? Have you heard of more stores doing this with folks?
Yeah, there's been such an uptick with using non-traceable ways to scam people, right? Asking people to buy cryptocurrency or other scams that involve gift cards. That I think many stores, especially the chain stores, are trying to do their part in bringing greater awareness to. Hey, it just seems off, right? In your case, you had a perfectly good use, but maybe that person says, well, no, I'm paying my taxes to the IRS through a gift card. That would be a red flag that person that associate at the store would say, you don't pay your taxes to the IRS through gift cards. It's right. So I think it's just it's a nice courtesy that they're providing. But yes, we are seeing, because this is happening so regularly, we are seeing an increase in that kind of awareness.
Yeah, even if it makes 5% of the people stop and think and realize that's 5% of people you've saved. And could you talk about the AARP Fraud Watch Network? This is fascinating.
Yeah, thanks for asking about that. The AARP Fraud Watch Network's been around for some time now, and what it is we have trained volunteers that are able to do some light counseling and help give direction for what you should do if you are involved in a scam. So if you feel that you've been a victim of some type of fraud, whether it's a romance type scam or something else, right? There is a sympathetic ear that can talk to you about what your next steps are and what you need to be doing. And that's live counseling that you can speak to somebody one-on-one. And but also we have a website that updates people as to what the latest scams are. These scams evolve constantly, nonstop, right? These scammers are trying to stay one step ahead of everybody else. I mean, 5 years ago, you never heard about a cryptocurrency scam. Now it is one of the biggest emerging scams out there. And so we want to make sure our members in the public, you don't have to be an AARP member, are able to access resources to protect themselves. And then also what you do if you happen to find yourself in that unfortunate situation of being a victim. And so it's
Well,
a great resource.
I'm
Yep.
sorry, Chris, only because we're down to the last 30 seconds. I'm an 8-year
Yep.
member. I love my AARP. Give everybody your website address, please.
Sure. It's aarp.org/NJ. And if you're interested in the Fraud Watch Network, you can just go to fraudwatchnetwork.com.
Absolutely. And by the way, The Power of Us, great show. My friend Pam, our director, and I were just
Thank you.
talking about it. So got to always check that
Me
out
too.
here on New Jersey. AARP New Jersey State Director Chris Widelo. It was great having you on. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, Ken. Take care.